Okay, here are the basics for making a resume that will be SBA approved. I'll go through some of this in class, but a lot of you I'll be meeting with for your resume review, and I want you to understand this information before you get to the review. So here is an example of a good, straightforward resume. The information is on the right order, and it just goes from left to right across the page. So read through this list, this checklist of all the basics, and just look at your resume and make sure you have the basics here. For the most part, you'll have a one-page resume. Some of you may have more industry experience and you might have a two-pager, but for the most part, you're going to have just a one-page resume. If you used a template that has different colors or columns or things like that, you're probably going to start from scratch and want to do something like this. I have a format that looks like this on Moodle in Module 1 in the resources section that you can just open up and copy and paste your information into. And that way you'll know you're in the right order. You can see here all the types of information that go into each of these headings. Your education section will be near the top of your resume until you graduate. Once you graduate, it'll be at the very bottom. These are some common errors that I see, so I just want to make sure you understand that before you ever get to your resume review. So feel free to pause and look through all of these. Excuse me. Now, let me backtrack. Once you get the formatting down pat, the most important part of your resume are the bullet points. Those are where you get to show what you've accomplished and the results in whatever jobs you've had. And so there's a formula for writing a good bullet point. You start with an action verb, and in class I'm going to go through, I have a handout of a list of action verbs that you can use. You start with that, then you add to that how or why you do that thing, or both, and results whenever possible. So instead of just a list of tasks you do at your job, it's going to be a list of accomplishments and results you've had at your job. So here's some before or after so you can get the idea of what you do, add to that how and or why you do that thing, and then results whenever possible. More examples here, like a resident assistant. Here's some befores, here's some afters. A lot of resumes that I see at first look like this before. So this is very common. You're going to go through this process of what, how, why, results to come up with more information, quantifiable results that somebody can look at and really see what you have accomplished. Here's another example of some server befores and afters. So look through your own resume, see where you're at, see what you can do to improve your resume. For your resume reviews themselves, you will email your resume to your resume reviewer a day before. We just ask, at least before your appointment at some point. If you're doing a walk-in appointment in the Career and Life Design Center, however, you don't have to worry about that. You just walk in with your computer and they'll go through it with you. During your review, this is what we're going to cover. Then you're going to mark up your resume. So have a way to mark up your own resume and take notes so that you know what to change once you're complete with your resume review. Then you're going to make any changes. There's instructions how to scan this through Resume AI. And by the way, don't use AI to write your bullet points. Everybody knows when it's AI driven. So you just want to do this all by yourself. But you'll scan it through the Resume AI just to make sure you're on the right track. I've put in all the parameters for an SBC 2990 business ready resume into our big Resume AI. Then you'll make any changes that are necessary, and then you're going to submit the assignment on Moodle. Again, I'll talk about this more in depth in class, but I just want you to get the gist of what this looks like. If you had business writing before, your resume may or may not be on the right track for us. Business writing is not in the business school, so sometimes they do what we recommend and sometimes they don't. If you have questions, you can always ask during your resume review, or you can check the resources, and you can also check Handshake for samples in the School of Business Career community. I want to just show you one more thing, and that is, this is a really common problem students have, how to single space your resume. So if this happens to you, you highlight the whole thing, right mouse click, go to paragraph, make sure this spacing is 00 before and after, and then single, and that's going to single space the whole document. You want to make sure you do that.